the sound of that.
What it means to live country is more of a state of mind and not about, you know, cowboy hats and living on a farm.
Let me throw a ball at it.
It's about your core values and your beliefs and a way of life.
There is a warmth that, you know, that a lot of people have in the South.
Country music is one genre where you can have your family. Like it really is so much about family.
Keep going, keep going.
Growing up country, I think, means growing up around and with your family and having great values and great morals.
I could die a happy man.
I don't think being country is where you're from. I think it's just kind of a lifestyle.
Oh, I think it's time to take a heartbreak.
I grew up in Augusta, Georgia. I grew up kind of more in the suburbs, so I wouldn't say it was super country, but my dad was from the North Georgia mountains, and so we would go a lot up to where he was from, and in the summers when I was in high school going up and, you know, working on the land and tractors and stuff and with cattle, and it was an interesting, eye-opening experience for me.
And I actually grew up in Nashville, and my mom worked in the country music industry. So I grew up, you know, it's interesting to see how country music has grown and just being around that my whole life, and now I'm still around it.
I run to you, baby.
It's like you don't want to say there's a slowness about it, because, you know, there isn't, but there is, you know, as I've gone to California or New York, it's just so hectic and fast-paced and in your face that there is a softness, I would say, from growing up in the South that you get. You know, very welcoming. You know, you walk in a place like, hey y'all, you never meet a stranger. So there is a lot of that you get growing up in the South.
I need you now.
That especially country music is one genre where you can have your family. Like it really is so much about family. We have so many great friends who are in this business who, you know, our kids are friends, and it is centered a lot on family.
Something about when I'm down here, I'm much better at just shutting it out and really focusing in, you know, on Cassie and now Ward, and it's just our happy place.
I think we both talk about it, that we worry, you know, for Ward, because he's going to grow up in a situation with a lot more than Charles and I had growing up. Even just the fame aspect of having a dad who people, you know beyond just our community is interesting, and we want him to feel empowered to make his own path and not just to feel like he has to be as successful or, you know, as famous or whatever, you know, comparing himself to his dad. So, but he already has such a great sense of self and is a kind person.
I want in the water.
You know, I want him to have a little bit of that sense of self and spirit, and you know, as he's looking to find what he wants out of life, but still have a little bit of that kind of softness and, you know, hopefully some empathy, as you know, down the line. We love to travel, and we feel so fortunate that Ward gets to kind of see a world beyond, you know, just his, and that's one thing that, you know, I never got to really see until Lady Antebellum. And I feel, you know, so lucky that we were able to give him that experience. You know, hopefully he'll, you know, become so much more of a appreciative of just the world and different cultures and ethnicities, you know, throughout it.
What it means to live country is more of a state of mind and not about, you know, cowboy hats and living on a farm. It's about your core values and your beliefs and a way of life.
Hey girl, you make me wanna write a song.
Growing up country, it means growing up around and with your family and having great values and great morals, and you know, I hope me and Lauren are doing a good job setting great examples for our girls to grow up to be stand-up people and always kind to one another, and Yeah, I don't think being country is where you're from. I think it's just kind of a lifestyle.
It goes like this.
We grew up country, but we also grew up knowing, you know, kind of what country music meant. You know, and to me, what my dad always taught me, that country music was the truth, and country music was a story, and country music was a form of music that made you feel laughter, happiness, sadness, all kind of emotions told in about a 3-minute genuine story.
We're adopting, and she is the cutest little girl that you ever seen.
Keep going, keep going.
Took us about a year and some change to finally get Willow Gray home, and she just has the biggest personality, one of the most unique personalities I've ever seen in a child. 2.5, forming complete sentences, you know, has a real funny sense of humor, and she's been a dream. You know, then 4 months later, after she got home,
There's Willow and sweet Ada James.
Ada pops into the picture.
Changes.
Willow Gray just became protective in ways. Just has really just filled in that big sister role like a champion. And now, you know, now that Ada is, I mean, she's starting to say hi and bye, and you know, took 24 steps to Lauren the other day. Like, things are just happening so fast, and I love getting them to kind of grow up the way that I grew up. It's not a better way to grow up. I just, you know, it's just what I love doing and love being outdoors, and getting to raise them in that kind of same way is really, really special to me.
I could die a happy man. Yeah.
It's always been a dream of mine. When I did have kids, like, I always hoped that I would be able to have a bus that we could all travel on together, and it kind of just feel like home on the road. It's just really cool to be able to travel as a unit like that while I still go do my job. I feel like I've played less shows this year than I have in my whole life, but I feel twice as busy. And I think that just comes with the nature of being a dad. Do you think you can lift all of these things and hand them to Daddy so I can put them in the back? Every week I feel like I've got it under control. And then like 24 hours goes by and your kids have already changed astronomically. I just love watching the process, man. You know, it's been a dream of mine to be a dad for as long as I can remember, and so I'm so glad I get to live that dream with my wife, and that I get to do my passion on the road with them. It's a pretty perfect scenario.
I like the sound of that.
What it means to live country is more of a state of mind, and not about, you know, cowboy hats and living on a farm. It's about your core values and your beliefs and a way of life. For me, being in the South, there's a wholesomeness to it that feels very safe. It's really important for me that they're ingrained in a good church and have that good foundation to build upon. And I think that's a core value system that you'll find anywhere you go in the South.
And for me, they have to use their manners, that nobody can just say yes or no. Yes, ma'am. No, sir.
Can you believe what a lucky guy I am with these horseshoes?
When you have kids, and especially growing up the way that I did, we never had a lot, so I want to do everything I can to make their lives as magical growing up as I can, but at the same time, you don't want them to be spoiled brats, because that would be no fun to live with either. So there's a delicate balance there, I think.
My kids have both been with us to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. Jay and the Flatts have the Rascal Flatts Surgery Center there at Vanderbilt Children's, and I volunteer a lot there, and I'm president of the board of directors there right now. And
people get confused about that. We're not actually doing the surgeries. It just has our name on it.
They're confused.
So I wanted to clear that up.
I built a jet ski.
Out of Legos?
One of the things that I've shared with them from my childhood is sitting around the piano and singing, because I did that with my mom and dad. My dad would sit down and play the piano and we'd all sing. And it's been so neat to sit around that piano back there with my kids and sing. I mean, that's a family tradition that is carried on.
Life's like a road that you travel along. There's one day here and the next day gone.
I come off the road, it's so great. I mean, we don't go out and do a bunch of stuff, because when I'm here, I want to be with my kids and my family. I know it sounds so boring and mundane, but those little things are some of the things that mean the most to me.
From a very young age, our children have known the word fellowship, because I'll always turn the TV off and say, nope, we're going to fellowship. So that way I want them to know that they have to share things, because if he has been gone, I want them to tell him about it. And it's so cute in their voice and from their perspective what's happened in their lives.
There's a pelican?
I think our kids live an extraordinarily different life than what I lived growing up. So pretty much everything about their life is different than mine was. So and you know what? I'm thrilled to be able to be blessed enough to be able to do that for them. It really makes all the long miles and all the long hours away from home worth every bit of it.